Okay, so yesterday I tried to do my first ever driving stream, and there's a few different elements, or like IRL stream, which would constitute, showing something with a camera. So it's like while I'm driving, so you can see, and I kind of position it in such a way that you can see the passengers, like as if you're the passenger almost in the car, right? So there's the Starlink, maybe you can see the reflection of it there, and obviously, so I'm just driving randomly around, and well, wherever I'm going anyway. So there's a few different things with this setup here. One is it's on a stand, like looking in the window, right? The iPhone that I'm streaming on. I'm still using the Starlink, like just to establish the components of the setup. I'm using the Starlink Mini still, as I've been using in these sessions whenever I'm driving. I'm using a stand now. Before I didn't need to do that. I was just kind of in my lap or to the side or something. But now I'm using a stand on the dashboard, which those always make me nervous because that's like the one that sticks to the dash, but it's kind of, I've tried that before and it kept falling after a while, so. Right, so we have the stand on the dash, and then I'm using a wireless microphone for it, which is the first time I've really used a microphone with this, because normally I just use the built-in mic because a lot of mics don't interact with it. So even as we're doing it right now, I don't know if this is actually working. Right, I should almost listen back. But this is like one of those USB-C things, like you plug in the receiver on the thing, on the phone, as it's sitting on the stand there, and then now I'm holding the mic, or you can clip it to your collar or whatever. So I'm doing it in 720p. I think I tried it in 1080p and it kept crashing yesterday. I didn't even do any commentary or anything. I was just trying to get it to work, and it kind of, it kept crashing, so I didn't really, I was just testing it basically, but I didn't get to actually do the session. But this could constitute my first IRL stream ever, because it's like, obviously I've done these while driving, or I've done, the camera, I've done them in halves. Like, I've done streams while driving, which would constitute like, IRL, because you're out and about doing something other than simply, being at your computer or in your home or whatever. So that's IRL halfway, the fact that, I'm doing commentary while driving, but I'm not showing it. So I'm not showing the camera, but I'm doing audio and I'm doing something else in real life. So that kind of counts. And then the other thing I've done is like with the camera, webcam, or the camera in person, where I don't show my face, but I show the thing. I show like the chest up board or something that I'm doing. So that's partial too, because even though I'm still in a home or whatever setup, so you're not really out and about, but you're showing something in real life that you're doing, even if it's in one place and your normal place. So now we're gonna do both at once, where we're showing something that we're not in our normal place, we're kind of out and about doing something, but we're also we're out and about and we're showing it, whereas normally we would just, again, be talking but not showing it, or I would be showing something but not in a different location or like in real life action. So it could constitute by that definition, right? Like, let's debate the definition of that. It could constitute by that definition IRL, because again, I've shown the chess-up board and the Rubik's Cube and stuff like that. So that's kind of IRL, but you're not showing yourself, or you're not showing or you're not really moving around or doing anything. You're just doing the same thing as you would be sitting in your room on your computer. It's just you're showing something visually, physically in front of you. And again, then the other ones I would do is like in the car I'm driving and I'm giving commentary, but I'm not showing anything. So I don't know what's so interesting even about it, but people seem to like this kind of thing generally, or it's better than just looking at a notepad, to be fair. But I don't really see what's so special about it, living vicariously or whatever. So this is on 720p. Hopefully that works and it looks okay, because I wanted to do it on a higher thing, but the Starlink kind of comes and goes. It can be good, but and so you can dox my location, or you can like kind of you can kind of appreciate it on the basis that I can show like certain landmarks, or I can travel all 50 states, or there's so many cool things you can do with this, right? Like, Speed Does America, like where he goes everywhere. But that's the one thing I don't like. I wouldn't want to make a spectacle of myself. Okay, maybe I could interview people or something, but I don't want it to be like he's going in KFC. There's a clip like this that's sort of, he's going in KFC in Japan, and he's like jumping around and making a big thing about it. And it's like, or everywhere you're going, you have like a big camera crew with you. Sometimes it seems like, maybe you shouldn't react negatively to him that way, but It's like nobody wants to deal with a camera crew. Nobody wants to deal with all, this entourage going on. Or maybe some people would like the attention or the cloud chasing, but maybe I'm talking too loud even because I'm holding it close and it's kind of more sensitive, so I should actually listen back, but I kind of just want to do that at the end. So again, I don't know if this is better content. It is better, I guess, even though I think it's dumb. But like, yeah, you can appreciate so many dynamics. You can appreciate the view and the sights of where we're going. You can make fun of the car, like, oh, it's noisy or bumpy, or oh, you could, try to be a super detective and dox me or something, see the reflection of something, I don't know. And again, I can show off like different locations and stuff, I guess would be cool. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is what people do a lot. Either they show themselves, which I think is boring and stupid. Who wants to see your ugly, stupid face? Or they show what they're doing. Like, this always makes more sense. Like if I'm walking around, and even that I find kind of stupid. Where it's like, oh, I'm walking around in public and like I have a camera. And like, it's interesting with those considerations too. Like, oh, you could accidentally show something private or whatever that but you're in a public thing. Like I'm just driving on a road, right? A public road. It's not like I'm in your house or something. So even if I somehow catch something that you don't want to see, or that you wouldn't want somebody to see, you are in like a public place. And it's the biggest thing I think is the dwelling on it, right? You're not dwelling on one person. You're just kind of going. So we might capture somebody on footage here on the side of the road or something, and but you're not making a thing of, you're not making a point of it, so I don't think that would be a big deal. Or like we could do all kind of things like, oh, I'll help them if somebody's on the side of the road, or I'll if I see a homeless person, I'll give them money, and it seems like, oh, you're doing this for content, but maybe it's something I would do normally anyway, just like now I happen to have it on there, but I don't know. Like that was an idea I always had, like I would interview people who are asking for money, like, they're on the side of the road asking for money, and I would ask them, like, what is your best life advice or quote? So I'll give you $20 or $50 or whatever, but give me, like, your best quote on life or something. Give me something insightful, right, in exchange for that. That's all. So, like, and then, you're doing that just for content. But it's like, okay, maybe I've done that thousands of times before, but so what? Right, it doesn't prove anything. It doesn't do anything. So, yeah, this is a pretty harmless, innocuous thing that, like, you're not bothering anybody by doing it. Right, I'm just in my own car, I'm just driving, and I'm just doing this. But it's different, like, okay, you're walking around in public, and it seems weird, like, you have your camera in a way that's conspicuous, that maybe people notice or feel uncomfortable, or maybe you will, bother people, or, again, you're kind of making a spectacle of yourself. So, yeah, so, like, when Speed goes into KFC in Japan, he's making a big thing, and people are telling him to be quiet. It's like, are they being rude to him, or is he being rude by being obnoxious in a place? Like, he's making it about himself, which might seem like, oh, he's a celebrity, so that's justified. But what if everybody else did that too, right? Like, or even if they're not famous, oh, they're streaming too, and you can make a skit like this. You have like 10 people in the same place, and they're all streaming and all doing something that's all about themselves, so they'll all interfere with each other, or they'll all bother each other. It's like, you don't have the self-awareness to realize that, oh, if somebody else was doing that, that would bother me, but because I'm doing it, it's okay, and I'm special. Right, so I don't like those kind of things in person, really. I don't like the cult of personality basis to a lot of things. So I'm assuming it's working and it isn't crashing. I'll have to check it at some point here. See, now, can you see this? Can you see that? Oh, that guy just overtook, and it's scary, and he's coming right at you, and, fucking overtaking shit. I want to see, like, could you actually see that? I don't know how delayed it is. But no, we can criticize other drivers and make fun of them. Again, not doxing their license plates, of course, or anything like that. Although, that's the problem. You presumably could see them, but you're not making, sometimes maybe, if you really wanted to, but like, you're not making a point to do that. So is that, there's a lot of gray area stuff. I feel like something could happen, like where, oh, one crazy person does zoom in on something and does, do something with that information. But the general intention is not to do that, right? You're not focusing on that. You're not, I don't know. It's like, or you could expose a crime inadvertently. I'll be a real life detective, and I'll try to catch people out on all kinds of fishy things they're doing. And so I'll inadvertently or deliberately do that. right, where we try to get to the bottom of different local mysteries and stuff. But no, this would be cool mainly to like go to different exotic places that I haven't been before, and also to this just shows you how much I'm like going out of my comfort zone though with content. Like, what the fuck am I even doing right now? I'm driving, I'm holding a mic, I'm talking about random stuff, I'm showing the camera of where I'm driving. Like, it's the thing that I just patently reject, right? Like, I reject the cult of personality face cam thing more, but I reject what this is even about. Like, what am I even doing right now, and why am I even doing it? And I'm doing it because apparently this appeals to people. Apparently the visual is more interesting. Mainly, obviously, when I do these sessions, I'm talking about absolutist philosophy and stuff, so it's not like you know, we would just be talking about random stuff like this, but I guess I could, so. But no, I could like highlight certain locations or show certain exotic places that I'm going to or something. Like right now I'm just going on a familiar random route right around the Syracuse area. Of course, where I live, I've always mentioned that. Right, and so obviously you get to appreciate the snow and stuff like that. We could do a hard mode challenge, trying to drive in a whiteout, like fucking, even though that's something I would normally do anyway, because sometimes you would have to do it. I'm like a safe, let me lay out my driving style, right? What kind of character class of a driver am I in real life? Like, I'm a very safe driver. I can be sometimes a little slow, but deliberately, right? I'm very overly cautious, so it might seem like I'm not good at times, but I try to minimize the need to do anything. Like, just be safe. If you gotta go slow, you gotta do what you gotta do. It makes it look like I'm driving on the white line or something, but that's just how the camera's positioned. Again, it's almost like you're in the passenger seat, sort of, right? That view would be kind of like that. And so you're in a position to basically realize that there's got to be, I'm trying to come up with interesting ideas for this already, right? We could just do it as I'm driving normally, and it's no big deal. But you could also do it like with some other context to it, to show off certain specific things or whatever. It seems like super bumpy too, the way, I mean, the car is kind of like that, or these roads are kind of rough on this particular part at least. What the fuck were we paying our taxes for? Right, but you could just show things that are like trying to expose certain aspects of society or make observations. Not so much that, oh, I don't want to people watch and pick on people that way, like make fun of them. Oh, look at this clown doing this or that, but more like trends or different events going on, or I don't know what you would really do, but again, I don't like the in-person thing of that. Like, okay, going around actually talking to people and showing, you know, this is at least like, okay, I'm doing it myself, so that's fine. But sometimes that inhibition doesn't come from like, oh, you're just embarrassed or you lack confidence. It's more just that you think it's stupid or like you don't want to do it, right? In the sense that, you know, you don't want to do it in the sense, yeah, what if I did that as like a mini game? Let me try to identify people's license plates who are missing or suspect or something like that, right? I'll get a police scanner and role play IRL GTA RP as a police officer. Like, fucking, there's a number of cases where people actually do that in real life. Like, they'll pretend to be a cop and they won't even necessarily do anything wrong, right? They'll pull people over if they think they're doing something wrong, like sort of like a vigilante thing, and they'll have a number of times they pull people over and they're not doing anything illegal. Like, the people will even say, okay, he just pretended to be an officer and this and that. Like, they aren't trying to take advantage of it always. They're genuinely just trying to do it. But yeah, this is a familiar route, and again, if I'm doing these just chatting things while driving anyway, I may as well, right? Like, I may as well do it. Like, show the video. So yeah, part of this I tried to show yesterday, and I don't think it worked really well. Or it was already on 720p when I just tried to start. So was I on 720 yesterday and it still didn't work? Like, I don't get it. I guess I can check with like the replay of it. But no, one thing I do find actually very convenient and that I do like about this whole YouTube thing is it may be the height of laziness, because I don't even have to download my VODs anymore, or even though I do that just to have, just in case. But like, or yeah, see if somebody's doing this, you could get in a crash, and then that would go viral, and that would be. There was one time I was doing a session, actually, like a recorded session while driving. Say, look at this clown getting stuck in the fucking, I don't know what he's doing. Right, not to be mean, but like, oh, it's his fault. He should, whatever, elitist victim blamer persona that I sometimes have. But no, what I'm saying is, I did get pulled over by a cop once, and I can't remember even why. Like, my car was just sort of wobbling a little bit, which had nothing to do with me. Like, it was windy, or the weather was bad, or icy, or whatever. And it's like, that's what I was doing. Like it wasn't like a crime. Like, I've been pulled over in my whole life by cops, maybe 3 or 4 times, and I've never gotten a ticket, and I've never actually done anything wrong. So they just do it, or maybe more than that. There's a number of times they'll just pull you over just because, or like I'll be on the side of the road doing something on my phone, maybe sometimes preparing for something like this, and then they'll ask like what you're doing, and it's like, okay, I'm just on my phone for a second. And then they say, okay, and go. It's like they got nothing better to do. But no, the point is that maybe it's even too far right in that sense that you can't see. You can kind of see the other side of the road, though, right? They can obviously always tweak with this setup, but this is meant to almost simulate you being in the passenger seat, but you're also unable to turn your head. So you're like in some Hannibal Lecter fucking outfit that restricts your face movement. But no, it's what I was saying is the fact that, yeah, like let me go back and rehash that, right? So how many times have I been pulled over by cops in my whole life, right? And I guess not like a checkpoint or something like that where everybody gets pulled over anyway. Like, there was this one time, okay, I'm driving through a town, and right, a local town, and they check, oh, is anybody else in the car? Because like there was some Amber Alert, somebody went missing, but they weren't singling me out. They were just doing that with everybody, kind of. So that one doesn't even count. So we did one where I was pulled over because my lights weren't on, and it was like late at night. It was like 1 or 2 a.m. at night or something. Or I was working somewhere, whatever, and I didn't have my lights on, or they kind of come on automatic with that car that I had, but like, I don't remember. Like, they kind of come on automatic, but it wasn't like the actual low beam enough to satisfy them. So whatever. Like, I forgot to put my light on. That's okay. And so he pulled me over because of that, and then he just said, okay, just put it on. Whatever, right? So not really a big deal, but that one was at least semi my fault, even though, like I said, I think it comes on automatically to some extent. But whatever, right? So, okay, you're pulled over for not having your lights on at night. Then the future ones were like, okay, this one was totally bogus. There's 2 of these that are totally BS, and this is why almost I'd like to have these on video. You can clown these officers, clown them, and you can say, one of them, okay, it's a stop sign in a route in a town in a road that I've been on a million times. I stop, and then I keep going, and then he says I didn't stop. Now, maybe I didn't stop for long enough, like, oh, you got to come to a full stop and count to 3 or something. I literally stopped, though. Like, this is why. Like, use this as, like, a dash cam. Right, I literally stopped, but he said I didn't stop. And he just gave me a warning and let me go. But it's like, and it's, like, literally 5 feet away from where I'm going. There's, like, a place I turn, and then I'm going there to do something. So, like, it was super close to that, and it's like, dude. So, yeah, he pulled me over for not stopping even though I stopped. And then another time that happened where some, like, weather event was going on and there's some tragedy going on. And that's sort of my style. Like, I won't say anything, but, like, I'll just let them do, like, they'll sometimes, okay, they're yelling at you or telling you something wrong, and you'll just let them do it and just move on, right? Even though what they're saying is totally false. But, no, she gets mad because they're in the middle of a thing going on. Right, like a weather event, and it's like, I stop at the stop sign, I stop, and then she comes in and stops after, and she doesn't have her lights on or anything, so technically I'm in the right, regardless of the circumstance, doesn't have her lights on, right, I stop, and then they stop after me, and then I go, but then she acts like, oh, I cut her off, but it's like, wait a second, I did stop first, she came in after me, 100%, so both of those instances, and she didn't end up actually doing anything, But so that's like the green light. Whenever, you know, Hurricane Katrina is going on, so you commit as many crimes as you want because they don't want to deal with it or they're overwhelmed. But no, that one's bogus because that one is absolutely bogus. And the reason why is because, again, I stopped and then I was going to go, and then she actually pulls up real fast to the stop sign too, out of nowhere. She wasn't even there. Right, I'm stopped and then I'm about to go, and then she pulls up to the stop sign real fast and then tries to keep going. So she was actually in the wrong. She was 100% in the wrong. I get that it's a stressful situation, stuff like that, but that's interesting. And then what else? Those are 2 times. One time a cop bothered me about something else. I can't remember. But yeah, never gotten a ticket or never actually done anything wrong. The closest to it actually being my fault was not having the lights on. Right, the one time, which is not a big deal. The 2 stop sign ones, though, are complete bullshit. Especially the second one. I was completely stopped for like several seconds, right? Like I'm stopped, then I'm gonna go, and then she pulls up to the stop sign to my right, and there is a stop sign there. It's not like it's only a 2-way thing. And then she comes out of nowhere, she's blazing through, and she maybe doesn't stop, or she partially stops and then goes, but she doesn't see me, or, you know, so what was the supposed accusation? And she's getting mad, like, why are you driving in this circumstance? But, and like, I had a drink in my thing, you know, in my cup holder, and she thinks I just got that there, but I had gotten that like way hours ago in the morning, but I don't say anything. But she's saying, oh, you went out in this weather to get that, and it's like, no, I'm driving an hour away from somewhere for work purposes through all this, like, I don't know. So, you know, sometimes they just want to feel good about themselves. But the point is, were there any other instances? Then there was the one more recent one where I had it recording. Like I said, I'm doing a recorded session, and this is like a viral moment, right, worthy. And I get pulled over, and then that was the one I was saying, like, where my car's sort of wobbling in the wind, or I don't know what it even was. Like, my car can be a little janky like that, and the thing was like, the roads were a little off, so because it's windy and a little icy, your car's shaking a little bit, so nothing was really even wrong. So he also didn't really do anything, but right, and he didn't even notice, because it wasn't like as conspicuous a setup as this. I had the little mic on, and so I did record the whole thing, and it was like in my side thing, because it's like a lavalier mic, but then I take it off, and then I put it on like the side, you know, where my door is. So I don't think he even noticed, or maybe he did, and he was. It seemed like he didn't even notice that I had that on, or didn't care. Yeah, like body cam is the best invention ever, that you know, get the accountability. Because like it's the same way that surveillance would work on citizens. Like, oh, why are there cameras in public places? Oh, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to hide. So it's the same thing. Oh, throw it back in their face. Okay, if police aren't doing anything wrong, they have nothing to hide. Like, right? It's just a safeguard. You could argue that like in everything. Like, okay, courtroom should always have that, and you know, if there's enough public interest, and trials are televised and shit like that. But yeah, it's a situation where this is like as far down this content sort of rabbit hole as I would go. Or again, even if I'm walking around and I can kind of covertly have a camera recording, you might think, oh, covertly, like you're doing something wrong. But it's more just like, I don't want to draw attention to it. Like, I'm not doing anything, I'm just walking around doing what I'm doing. But if I happen to want to record it without bugging anybody, right, if anything, it's like, oh, you're recording people without their consent or something. But no, it's the opposite. Like, they're getting in the way. I'm trying to record myself and what I'm doing and where I'm going. I don't give a shit about these random people, right? I don't want them in there. So like, they're in the way. I'd rather be totally empty. I'm in Disney World and I want to be there by myself and record everything I'm doing, let's say. But they're in the way and other people are there. So it's like, you're not only are you not recording them, you're kind of just, you know, not only are you not recording them, you're, you know, you just happen to be doing it, but no, like, do it in a more covert way somehow, and like, you're not making a big spectacle out of it. So yeah, I mean, this is like an ethical, good way of doing it. Like, even though I don't see much of a point of it, I could see the value in traveling around, though. I could definitely see that. But then see, like, let's say, okay, I'm going to some exotic landmark, and I don't want to show it just from my car. Like, okay, I want to get out, and I want to, show it and walk around and stuff. So that part I would need some other setup for. But yeah, the sheer laziness of these VODs, like, or these streams auto uploading to YouTube and staying there forever, and YouTube just being a better video sharing platform in general, would be the appeal of this, right? This is why I like this, because I don't have to edit this video, I don't have to upload the video, it's just there already, right? And it's done. And it's like, okay, so, and I don't have to like go out of my way to stream as a singular thing, like, oh, I'm driving anyway, so I may as well just do it, right? So it makes it lazily convenient for somebody like me, right? I don't have to sit down and actually make a point to do it. Now I can just do it while driving. Not that I'll do this all the time, but just whatever. I've been trying it. And then the other thing is the fact that, so I don't have to go out of my way to do it. And even if I did go out of my way to do it, I don't have to, I don't have to go out of my way to do it because, okay, I'm driving or doing something anyway, but also I don't have to edit it or upload it if it's already there. Right, and again, most of the visual quality and stuff, it's not like it really matters anyway, if it's not the greatest, but it should be pretty good, and I would want to try it in 1080p as well, but yeah, I don't know if you're enjoying the sights or what, but again, the main thing is I'll discuss absolutist philosophy or something like that. Or what would dictate, let's say I wanted to do this all day today, what would dictate the length of it is more so the fact that the battery, I have to use like an Anchor battery for the for the Starlink. So that thing runs out of battery pretty quick, like within 2 hours or so. So I couldn't do it much longer than that even if I wanted to. And then even if I had to switch it to like another battery, it would probably crash the stream in doing that. So unfortunately, one of the main limitations of the setup, usually it fits pretty well because, the course of driving isn't going to take more than like an hour, typically where I'm going, but, it's a good thing, so, yeah, you get to see all the sights, which this is a pretty drab, boring kind of area anyway. There's nothing super exciting. You got a little bit of the snow, which isn't too bad right now. We've had like 1 or 2 big storms so far, but most of it is okay. And then, yeah, it gives you like a fresh perspective, maybe like, oh, you might be seeing these areas for the first time. Maybe you've never been in this area before, which is pretty reasonable because like any random person, where you live exactly isn't going to be always like a super well-known area. Like this might be your first time ever seeing this in your life, and it's like, for you it might be noteworthy, or you might notice things that I've never seen before, whereas for me I'm more jaded, like, oh, I've seen this a million times, so it means nothing to me. So right, so it's in the eyes of the beholder here a little bit, like the value that you see, and so right, and I can do like food reviews, although that'll be a little bit awkward because I don't know how to show the food per se. Right, like that'll be a whole nother issue because like I'll try different restaurants that I haven't been to before, even in the same local area, and I'll be bootleg Dave Portnoy over here, so or like people would sometimes call me Destiny Jr. with some of my debate elements, but no, it's basically the case that I'll try this and I'll try to go somewhere that I haven't been typically, because maybe like try to go somewhere different. And then one thing that's funny with it, I keep trying to call it Tesla coil or some shit. The Starlink is like, you go like in a fast food drive-through, right, and you go under the little overhang, or I guess if you go to a gas station, it could be the same thing. And my stream would crash right then because, you have something overhead that blocks the Starlink from reaching the sky. So even something as simple as that, going in a fast food drive-through or in like a gas station or something like that, would actually have caused it to crash there. And the reason why is because, or yeah, like if I went to like an in-person over-the-board chess event or some shit like that. But see, that I would feel like I have to ask their permission, or like, what am I going to do? Go in there with a hidden camera and then commentate it on it afterwards. I wouldn't even feel like I have to stream it, but just to have a thing of it, just to kind of show the whole experience, right? That's one of those cloud privilege type things. Normally, if you ask that and you're some random person, they're not going to let you do it. But, oh, you're Alex Botes, so now you get to. So it's like, it's a different rule set. Oh, recording it here is not allowed, but it's okay if you're a big cloud chasing streamer, right? It's something that would be a little bit of a double standard there. And so, yeah, I don't mind doing this. Again, it'll be the same absolutist philosophy type thing that we typically discuss. Maybe not so much here, but yeah, whatever. For all intents and purposes, this could be my first IRL stream ever, and the setup has taken some different forms here, where again, I'm using the little phone holder on the dashboard, and I'm also using the mic, the wireless mic, both of which are, you know, this is like my first time effectively that I'm using them. So the phone holder seems okay, although eventually I feel like that stickiness wears out, and maybe the angle of what I'm showing from the driving isn't the greatest, right? It might be too much off to the side. But again, to simulate the passenger feel, but I can maybe tilt it a little bit more the other way. And then finally, the mic seems okay, but I have to actually hear it back. I tested it in like the voice memos before I started, just to see like if I put it far away, is it my voice quieter, and if I put it closer, just to show that it's registering and actually working. Because again, a lot of the mics that I've tried to use with the iPhone don't work, or it doesn't give you feedback, whether it's connected or not. This one is made specifically for these type of things, so it does seem to work, but I don't know in the streaming capacity whether it would or not. Right, it's not considered a Bluetooth microphone, but like I was using my Bluetooth headphone as a microphone, which could sometimes be okay, but it's I don't really know, right? It's one of those things like where, since I didn't listen back to it so far, it could be that it hasn't been working the whole time, but I will assume it is. But I've turned this into like such a, you know, self-actualizing adventure in a way that like every little thing I'm doing, I'm showing you, right, that's relevant. Like, oh, I unboxed the iPhone and I made a video on that, and then I, you know, every step of the way of using it, whether, oh, I'm setting up the first apps, or I'm playing games on there, or I'm showing off whatever I'm doing, right? Every step of the way, every step of the way I'm doing that, like I'm showing every step. So now I'm doing this different thing. So you know, it's just trying different things and sort of trying to whatever, keep developing the setup as I go on. So again, I always have made fun of mobile streaming, but that's kind of dumb, and who would actually do it? But for this purpose, it's maybe somewhat convenient, although I still don't really see the appeal of it. You know, it's convenient to a degree. And so, you know, what other topic could we do here? I'm trying to just think of interesting things to show, right, since we are doing this, and I don't know exactly what that would be. Like, what could I show that would be interesting in this area or in general? What would people want to see? You know, we can count the number of cars on the side of the road that we've seen. Like, that's at least the second one. But it doesn't seem really on account of weather. They both seem pretty, like, they didn't seem to crash. They were just kind of comfortably sitting there. But kind of like me when I'm setting this shit up, sometimes on the phone, right, I pull over for a second and make sure it's working or something like that. But yeah, I'm trying to think, what could I really do in this capacity? What could I really show off? But yeah, there's like a living vicariously or cult of personality basis to a lot of things that people do. And the reason why is because you could easily dox me, I guess, in a manner from, but not really. I mean, I'm just in this general area. That doesn't prove anything of, you know. No, I guess you could, though, in a way. Like, especially if you were a bigger streamer. If you knew where this was or whatever, right? You could figure out where I am at that exact moment, but it's like nobody really cares to do that, or would somebody actually do that? Right, like if you were a big streamer, obviously they would congregate, but it's impossible to, you know, with all the signs. Yeah, let's stream from church tomorrow, and then ridicule the priest and shit and debate him and stuff like that. See, I'm not the type to do that kind of thing. Like, I don't go out of my way or bother people in their own environment, but I will do it on my own. Like, okay, I'll have that debate if you're willing to have it, or I'll have it, you know, on my territory or turf, or like I'll say what I'm gonna say, but I won't bother you, or like, go to where, I'm not gonna go to a church and bother somebody, but I might criticize Christianity or religion, or I might debate somebody who's willing to do that, right? But I'm not gonna obnoxiously go there and make a big spectacle and bother people who are doing what they're doing. And so, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's a cool idea. It opens up certain possibilities, I guess. It's not really that interesting to me personally, but, I could go to exotic places and shit, but some of that would entail me wanting to get out of my car and actually doing something. Right, from the perspective that, I don't know, see, it makes it like people personalize with it. Oh, like look at this person driving, or look at this person doing this or that, and that's where the cult of personality comes in. Like, who cares? Everybody drives, everybody does, but somehow we associate with that, like, oh, it's a big deal, right? Or we somehow relate to it, or we think it's special, and it's like nothing I'm doing. I'm just driving. Like, or what else do people do in IRL stuff? Like, they're just walking around. They're just getting food. They're just going shopping. Like, none of this shit is interesting or noteworthy to anybody. But somehow we make it special, or we treat it like that when we I don't know. So even without really playing into the cult of personality thing, you are still, and I guess I'm not really clipping this on the way that you're supposed to. I prefer holding it somehow, but it's not really a big deal. But yeah, or like if something noteworthy happens, we might witness something interesting on the road, right? Like, let that be the content for us. Again, we could help some homeless person, or we could help somebody who's pulled over, or we could witness a crash, or not that I'm hoping for any of that, I'm just saying, like, things that could naturally happen, or I could get pulled over by a cop, or I could just things that could naturally, organically happen that you're not trying to make happen at all. But I'm trying, from my perspective, what are things that I could do? Like, I could try different places for food, or I could try just different things to show off, different landmarks, locations. I guess I'm sort of jaded to this area a little bit. Like, there's nothing here of interest to show. It's just kind of dumb and boring. But see, you could say that with anywhere. You would, anywhere that you've been 100 times, you would say the same thing too. So it's not really a standard of basis of value. You're just jaded or new, right? So you're letting your own experience determine the value rather than some actual objective standard. But either way, you feel like I don't know. So like now I might sit somewhere and we could get something to eat, and we could, so that'll be a bit tricky. How am I going to get something to eat if I, without ending the stream, or without causing it to crash, or whatever it is that I do? And so I don't know, whatever. This is mostly a test experience, and I will have to listen back, but seems to be reasonably comfortable. Like, it's nothing too crazy. Hopefully the audio quality is better. It might actually be too loud, so let me be a little quieter here, or put it like a little further away, just because I don't know. It seemed to be picking it up a little bit stronger in the voice memo as I was looking at it, so yeah, maybe it'll be a little bit too loud. Yeah, that's always something I can do while driving too, is like reacting to videos or something, even though you might think, oh, that's distracting or something, but you don't have to actually watch it as much as you're just listening to it. Right. But yeah, all the interesting moments that can happen where, and it's almost boring if I keep showing the same trip over and over. Like, I would want to go to different places or do something different, but in the course of my ordinary everyday life, I wouldn't be doing that anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, I'd have to go out of my way and specifically go somewhere different just for that. So yeah, don't dox these people from their license plate. Like, there's no way to really avoid showing that, but it's like, or now that at least the passenger side opens up now with a bit more view, because there's another part of the road where typically you're just looking at trees and stuff from there, but oh my god. Yeah, like, I'm always the type to be aware of the nature of a process, like I say, so I would ridicule it even as I'm doing it. Like, I don't get why people would want to see this, and you might think, oh, but nobody's watching, so you're right. But that's not, unfortunately, I would gladly defer to that then. Okay, it's dumb and don't watch it. But unfortunately, this is the kind of thing that people would watch more so than whatever else I would do, the notepads, or like, you know, whatever. I mean, I guess that it's visually more interesting at least than that, but it doesn't seem to have much value to me. Or we got like a fire truck behind us, which you can't see that, but I don't know, it's like you're trying to make something interesting, or you naturally have something. Okay, that was a bit questionable the way he cut in there, but we'll rate people's driving abilities and skills. And like I said, I wouldn't say I'm the best driver, but I'm a very safe driver. I've never gotten in a crash, never gotten a ticket, right? Like we established, any pullovers that I've had have not been my fault, clearly and honestly, kind of true. This dude not only cut me off, but then causing me to miss the light. But no, it's I'm a safe driver, right? I might be deliberately slow and account for other people because they're stupid, so I'm not going to be doing any fancy tricks and stuff like that even normally, right? I'm not trying to show off. I'm not going to be aggressive. Like, I don't really care, right? So I'm very safe, never gotten in an accident, never gotten a ticket. You might think, oh, that's jinxing it somehow here, but there's no such thing as a jinx. It's just be safe, and if something happens, it is your fault because people are clowns, and you should account for the fact that they're clowns. So even if something happens from a clown, right, like that's the whole absolutist philosophy and part that I have, or the elitist part of it, like, everything is your fault. Even if someone else does something, it's your fault for not adequately accounting for their tendency or ability to do that, right? So it's your fault that you didn't adequately account for the fact that they're a moron and they don't know how to drive and everybody's a clown. So it's still not their fault that they did it to you. It's your fault that you allowed it to happen and weren't aware or didn't account for it adequately enough. And so I almost never have washed my car in my whole life because I feel like, oh, it's going to rain anyway, or it's going to, and some of this, you know, window maybe would indicate that, like, that there are certain stains that don't really go away or start to make a glare or make it harder to see at times. But no, it's like, oh, it rains anyway, or it's snowing anyway, so why would I need to do it? Right? Just let nature wash it, which is sort of true and valid somewhat, but and it's just going to get like that anyway, so why even bother doing it? Which is like a life philosophy, Sisyphus, however you say it, kind of thing, where, oh, he pushes the boulder up just for it to fall down again. It's like, what's the point in cleaning, or what's the point in doing anything, right? Especially if you don't require or desire it yourself. It's like, I don't care if it's a little messy or something, or like, just don't make it messy in the first place, and then you won't have to clean, remove the need, or, you know, you get to see, now you can see I'm not lying about the fire truck. But no, it's this is so fucking dumb. Okay, but no, what I'm saying is, yeah, don't make it messy in the first place, then you won't have to clean, or don't require it to be clean, and then you don't care, so it doesn't matter. Right? All these insignificant things that people insist upon that don't really matter, and it might steal away minutes of your life that you could be doing something else, but then you realize, oh, there is nothing else to do. Everything in life is just zero-sum reaction or relief to a zero-sum process anyway. And so it allows you to realize that, would people even really be able to tell? I guess they can kind of tell that I'm holding the mic, or they might notice that, but I could just be talking on the phone to my girlfriend or something, and for some reason I like to use a microphone to do it. We're recording a sex tape in the car, and we're fucking, you know, got to get the best quality for it. But yeah, what else could I do specifically with this, or that would benefit from this, or make a point of it? And I guess what I could do in a way, is I could sit at one place and just show that, and you might think, oh, what's the value in that? But It's like, oh no, I'm not a stalker. I'm not trying to, like, you'll be sitting in one spot and you'll be there when somebody goes into a store and comes out of it or something. It's like, oh, I'm not a stalker. I'm just a streamer, and oh, that somehow validates it. Or I'm a photographer. Use like some creative pretense, but it's like you really don't care. But there's like this self-obsessed thing that people sometimes have is like, oh, like you're walking behind somebody and it's like you're following them, right? But like, dude, we're walking to the same place. We're in the same place. Like, what do you mean? Right? Like, oh, you're following them. No, they're, you're both going the same direction. You're walking down the street and somebody's in front of you, or they even turn and come in front of you from somewhere else, and that's like, oh, you're following them, but we're going to the same place potentially, right? Like, or we're going in the same direction down the same street. Like, it's just stupid. But people sometimes feel self-obsessed, like, oh, you're somehow doing something. I was trying to think of something to show that would be more noteworthy, but maybe that's the real revelation. There is nothing noteworthy to show. Everything is just ordinary, and it is what it is, but it's just your perception. So what's noteworthy to you, because you've maybe never seen this area before or whatever, wouldn't be noteworthy to me because I've seen it so many times, right? Or there's certain aspects that might be. That's like the sense of wonder. Like, treat the world like it's this is a blind first playthrough of life, and you get to see everything fresh for the first time. Which, that sense of wonder is often taken out of people, even in the gaming space, like the Path of Exile community that I was just clowning the other day. But like, even in life, it's the same thing. That'll become a new crime, right? Streaming while driving, because one stupid, irresponsible person will get distracted and crash. So now they'll make that illegal too, and that's always what society waits for, is dramatic examples. Whether it should be the case or not, right? Like, whether there should be this new law or not, people won't do it on their own from a rational basis. They'll do it from an emotional, knee-jerk position to say, that now we have to do it because of that event, rather than thinking rationally and clearly about it in such a way that, okay, if it's a sound process, you should do it no matter what, or if not, you shouldn't do it. Not that, oh, you should do it only in reaction to some extreme event, specific case that happened. And so, but no, I like the cynical projection too of it. Like, you can't just do something just to do it. Like, oh, it would have, you might think, oh, you're doing this for money or something. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're just doing it just to do it. The same reason that why do people write diaries or journals, or why do people make creative works of fiction, or why do people even socially interact? Like, nobody wants to hear about your day. It's just random, stupid, self-insistence. So at least this is a little more self-aware in that regard. But it's a situation where, I don't know. Or like that could be something you do as a prank, like walk through a drive-through, and they probably wouldn't care. Like, instead of driving, just walk. Or somebody's going on like a couch that's somehow able to move and driving that around. It's like, why, it wouldn't matter, but just like do something unconventional, weird like that to break the break the routine. So I'm honestly finding this boring to do, but no, again, I could always I don't know, I'm like expecting something of interest to happen, but it's just like, there's nothing really that special about it. But one thing I'll say is, again, I can do my normal discussions and topics in doing this, and so it just gives you a little different visual feedback in the process. So I'll listen back to the mic, and I will possibly, I don't know. But no, if I get some food, I should, like, I want to let the stream run, I should walk inside and get it, because I shouldn't use the drive-thru if it's going to cause the Starlink thing to crash. Right, but here I might just even end off, and I do kind of want to listen back to this. Maybe that was a good enough session. Again, my first IRL stream ever, technically, because again, even though I've done stuff on camera, it's usually in one place and just in my house or my room or whatever. Or even if I do the things while driving, like in person or something, it'll be, again, without any visual. But this is combining the two elements. I'm showing the visual of where I am and what I'm doing. I'm also out and about, not just in my room, not just in my house. And so that does constitute an IRL stream, right? I'm showing something in real life outside, and I'm also again, showing the visual while I'm doing it. again, as opposed to being outside and doing something like while driving, but not showing it because I'm just showing the notepad and just talking. Or, again, doing something physically in person and showing it, but doing it like in my room, like I'm playing on the chess-up board or the square-off board or something. So then I'm not like actually out actively in real life and doing something. I'm still in my room or whatever. And so, yeah, you have the Starbucks here that's always packed, and I never like coffee. I'm not a coffee person. Or I should live through my minimalist ideation and not. That's one of my great sins by that perspective would be the fast food aspect, but right, it's honestly more so about the convenience. Like half the time I wouldn't even care what I get. It's just like I don't want to have to, make it myself or do anything like that. This is at least somewhat of a funny, noteworthy moment, which you can barely probably even see, is the fact that the Starbucks drive-through is so backed up that it's actually blocking the road in a way. Like, I don't know if this guy's even trying to get in there, probably, but yeah, that's like the inane thing about it. It's like with the IRL stuff, like Speed gets stopped in the grocery store by some woman clowning him, and then they have an argument or something. It's like you're almost waiting for stuff to happen, or you're almost, I don't know, like what it is. Either, you're just going about your ordinary everyday life, in which case it's not that interesting, so why would anybody want to see it? Or you're kind of baiting for reactions or something. So it's like, that's why popularity can sometimes be self-fulfilling in a way, because... What the fuck? Oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that then. Like, I just solved the whole problem and went around. But no, like, either you're doing something ordinary and everyday. What the fuck is going on? It's not like I'm even trying to go in there. I just thought the whole traffic was stopped because of that, but that one guy clowned me and went through. But no, what I'm trying to say is the fact that, like, either, again, you're doing something ordinary, like in your everyday life, in which case it's not that notable, or you're doing something that we gotta hide from a mirror, like we're a vampire or whatever the thing is, so that we don't dox ourselves IRL, but who really gives a shit at this point? But no, what I'm saying is that you're in a position to basically... Or yeah, it'll be like, no recording on premises. We'll be right in front of the sign and we'll be doing it. Like, okay, does streaming count as recording? But no, what I was trying to say, if I can ever fucking say it, is that basically the two fallacies are either you're doing something ordinary like you would be doing in your everyday life, in which case it's not that interesting and why would anybody want to see it, or you're trying to bait for something, like you want attention, you want reactions, you want to make a spectacle out of something, but you don't want to, you pretend like, I'm just going around minding my business, but you want something to happen, right? It's kind of like the same philosophy of social interaction, like, you dress a certain way, with all due respect, stimuli, acme, baiting, but it's your choice. It's like, and then you don't want a reaction sometimes, but you do want a reaction other times. It's like based on, who's reacting. And so it's like, you don't want to be called out or held accountable for trying to get attention, but you do want attention nonetheless. So like, you kind of know what you're doing, you're baiting for attention, but only from the certain people. So, if one person notices something, that's bad and they're being a creep. But if somebody else notices it, that's good, and you want the benefit of it without the accountability of it. And then the other point is the fact of the cult of personality basis or popularity being self-fulfilling. Is like, if you create the impression of something going on, people will gravitate towards it for that reason alone. So it's kind of like, you have a camera crew or entourage, so even if you have 0 followers or something, it seems like you're something big, so people want to be a part of that. Or even if you are big, it's like, this person's famous, so everybody wants to congregate around them because they're already famous. It doesn't matter what they're famous for, whether it's justified or validated, or whether you would find it valuable. It's like, it's like the industry plant thing, or some way that you're controlled. It's like, you preconceive their popularity, like, they're already popular, regardless of why or how or what, or whether it's validated. And so because they're popular, now they become more popular. It's like, you're again, IRL streaming in the grocery store or in public or something. It's like, everybody congregates around you, and it's like, they want to be around them because they're popular. It doesn't, again, so like they're popular because they're already popular, not, doing it's not that they're doing anything to validate it, like, oh, they're really good at something, or they're an athlete and they're playing the sport at the high level or something. No, some popularity is just like the reason why people pay attention to them is because they're already established and already popular. And so that's all, it's a self-fulfilling fallacy then. If you just create the illusion of being popular, then you end up becoming popular because people want to be around the popularity, regardless, even if you're doing anything noteworthy that would validate it or, kind of warrant it in the first place. Like, okay, again, are they actually good at something or doing something noteworthy or doing something nobody else could do or anything like that? And so it is a very odd psychological basis that you would have the inhibition of it in a way is kind of humility or having a high standard. It's like you wouldn't want to do it, right? Like content creation or something because, oh, it's stupid. Like you think it's dumb and it's not worth it and not notable. Not you specifically or what you're doing, but just in general, the very process of it. So you would have high standards. Like unless I'm doing something really impressive, then why would I do it? Why would you bother? Or the other side of it is the fact that again, you think the whole process of it is dumb, or maybe the cult of personality basis. So, you're appealing then to something that you think is dumb and shouldn't even be valued. But okay, so I'll listen back to it and whatever. That was a good first test. But one other point on that is like, you would basically be in a position to, think it's stupid. Just the general process of it, so you wouldn't want to do it yourself, or you would think that your standard is higher, like you would want to do something noteworthy, right? So it's not that, oh, your inability to do it. Most people don't do things like that because they think they're dumb, or the act of doing it is dumb, or it's not worth it, or there's nothing notable. So it's like you're holding it to a high standard, but then you see what people value as a low standard anyway. People value anything or random or arbitrary things, right, to the point where even people who are fans of whatever, somebody, wouldn't be able to explain exactly why. Like, why do you even like that person? And you wouldn't really be able to give a specific example. It's like, oh, just because they're funny or interesting or something, but like, just they're exposed to them and it's repetition and familiarity and preconception, but you wouldn't really even be able to single it out. It's just sort of random in the end, like it's arbitrary. Even if you point out, oh, they're funny or interesting, okay, but by what criteria? You might find somebody else to be the same, right? Anybody else could be by the same metric. So it's like the same thing happens even on a social level. In society, it's like maybe you don't want to appeal to ego or cult of personality or something, so you reject the process, but now it seems like, oh, you have some inability to do the process, not that you reject the process or find it stupid and wouldn't require it yourself or have it appeal to you, so you don't want to appeal to it, right? That it's just a flawed process that's kind of stupid and a negative that is necessary in the first place. And so, okay, so let me listen back and I'll kind of test it.